showtime.
Welcome to Show Me Some Television, the segment where I binge watch television programs thanks to Roger's Show Me service, which I'm getting essentially for free because they want me to use my internet over its limit and pay more money. I'm sure that's why. But yeah, I'm getting to do all this watching, and as a result, I'm getting to tell you about some television programs maybe you've never seen, maybe you have, and if you're curious, maybe I'll convince you to either watch it or not. Who knows? In this video, I'm talking Extant Season 2. Now, if you're curious about Extant, I would go see my video on Extant Season 1 and start there, because Season 2, I'm going to have some spoilers here, and that may give it away, because honestly, the only real thing that Extant has going for it come Season 2 is those reveals, right? The mysteries involved. Unfortunately, what was set up in Season 1 was quickly turned into standard fare come Season 2. Episode 1, they kill off a main character, so anything is possible. Anybody can get killed in this show. And so it takes a very different direction, and it's the direction that I was hoping it would never go in, and that's the lazy direction. The show involves scientists, astronauts, robots, essentially, and aliens, and the government. So we've already determined in the first section that the government is bad, and they just augment that considerably in Season 2. But that's not all. The alien invasion that is Season 1 actually turns into essentially what would be considered an invasion in Season 2. Now, things happen in Season 2 that honestly, it's sci-fi, so anything is possible, but there are some real jumps in terms of the alien logic and the way the aliens work, in order to further the plot in the direction they want to go, which could have used a lot more fleshing out. But it's like, Monday we aliens do this, and Tuesday, well, we fix that. You fix that? Well, yeah, we realized that was bad, so we don't do that anymore. Okay, but we're talking about like biology here, right? It's the equivalent of saying I have two mouths, and the two mouths make it so that people want to kill me, so we got rid of the second mouth. Just like that. Yeah. There is a lot of really, really quick science happening in this. The stuff that you hear of that, it takes us years and years and years, decades even maybe, to determine. They're like a month at most, and they figure this kind of stuff, or maybe a day. Who knows? It's sci-fi, right? So you got to take some liberties. But what really, really irks me about Season 2 is they go down the AI is it's the Terminator route, right? AI, once it gets to a point where it can think for itself, is going to think for itself, and it's going to go against the human race. And I was hoping they really wouldn't have gone down that route. Season 1, obviously it had the aspects there that it could, but at no point did it suggest that it would. And Season 2 immediately puts that into place, and they create a robot army, because you got to fight the aliens. The robots can think for themselves. because yeah, like, and it's so weird because the scientists behind creating them, they come out there and it's just like, they know they have these rules and they put these rules in place, but then they're just, for a multitude of reasons, like, it's like the government's after them. Oh, we'll pull you from the project unless you get this done by tomorrow. And they're like, what? The only way for me to do that is to get rid of every safety protocol we have. Well, then do that. But then they could kill us. I don't care about that. Okay. Oh, well, you know what? You gotta input these safety protocols into this robot. Oh, but she's sexy and wants to sleep with me, so she asked me not to. What? You didn't do something because the robot asked you not to because you got a hard-on for it? I'm sorry, man. There are some problems with that, big time. Yeah. The season could have been good. It could have been good. Even with that going on, you could have been like, whatever, alright. But then you throw in Halle Berry. And I don't mind her as an actor. She's fine. But, oh my god, over the top, complete loss of any logic because of a robot child that essentially for a good portion of season 1 she didn't have any emotional connection with, and an alien baby that she had for, I don't know, maybe a month. And it takes this uber duper psychotic mother complex where she's like, I gotta do this for my baby. And it's just like, for a logical scientist, somebody who's, been programmed in there, who didn't want to have kids, or couldn't have kids. Well, did want kids, but couldn't have kids anymore. I get the whole idea of, now I have kids, but that was the robot, and she still didn't feel attached to it. As soon as she has a baby that never gets a full gestation term, so she's not carrying this for, 9 months and she's attached to it, is an alien. She knows it's an alien. She doesn't even know that it's a baby. Could be anything in there. And then is gone as soon as it's like born, essentially. Where is this attachment from? Where? It would have been like being attached to your common cold, because you have it almost just as long, man. Maybe you had pneumonia and you're like, oh, I don't want my pneumonia to go because I'm attached to it. It just didn't. She didn't have this child long enough to have this emotional attachment to it, to the point where she's like loony crazy about it. She is breaking laws. She is lying to everyone. She's going out, on missions to do things that, in all probability should have gotten her killed. But, I gotta save the baby. Well, the baby is a grown adult by the time she's doing this. And they kind of try and explain that away by saying, the aliens have influenced her. Her DNA is changing, and she feels this drawn. But no, it's not a drawn as a member of a community. If that was it, not a problem. I would be okay with that. But no, it's like right to the end, it's all about oh my baby, this is my child. It's not about I'm influenced by the aliens, even though it's clearly there. They mention it over, but it's always, when it comes out of her mouth, it's always about this. This is my child. I have to save them, and it's just like, it did not mesh with what was going on. It did not mesh with her character, did not mesh with the timeline, did not mesh with what she's already established. Oh, I get she really wanted to have a baby, but I think they needed to deal with that a little bit more. Like they had a couple of episodes and she was very happy to be pregnant, but the pregnancy was going too quickly, and then they stole her baby. Which, you know, she thought it was dead, and then it was alive, and then she was like, oh my god, they got my baby. And it was just like, no, they have an alien. And everybody, you know, like even her husband tried to say to this, you know, like this, and people involved, there's some new characters, lots of new characters. Everybody tries to, you know, essentially say it's not a baby, that's an alien. You know? It's like, it would be like if you were implanted by, you know, one of the face huggers from Alien, and you're like, oh, my baby, as it bursts out of your stomach. Oh, yes. You know, we're talking, what was it? Was it Alien Resurrection type stuff? And Alien 3? Like, big time. At least, but in that time, they, you know, Ripley didn't go crazy about things like that. She was a little nuts, but not in the sense that Halle Berry's character is. And that, on top of, you know, everything else being so cliche, really killed Extant Season 2 for me. Season 1 wasn't great, but at least I wanted to see where it was going to go. I thought it had potential, and all the potential it had, it threw out the door in Season 2 and just went with all the regular... It got lazy. It got really lazy. Like, I mean, a 6-year-old, it's like a 6-year-old wrote this. You know, outside of the, you know, relationship aspects of it, but just in terms of the storyline and what's happening, it's like you know, a child was, you know, telling the story, and then an adult will go, well, what? How is that possible if you did this? And they'd go, well, because of, and then they'd make something else up. That is exactly how Extant Season 2 sounds. Jumps of logic, crazy stuff happening for no good reason, and people just being crazy. Just crazy, silly, too cliche. Would not recommend Extant Season 2 to anybody who enjoyed Extant Season 1, or to anybody in general. Honestly, if you're going to watch it, it's only the same reason why I watched it and stuck with it, is because you saw Extant Season 1, and you got to finish it off. Because there is no Season 3. On a, you know, lighter note, they did end Season 2 with a sort of series wrap. It was a good ending. The ending doesn't need to be continued on. The series is complete, so Extant does feel like a complete series with only 2 seasons. You end it, the story's done. You know, wash your hands and you're out. But I just wish that, yeah, Halle Berry's character wasn't so annoying, and that they hadn't gone so cliche with the, you know, whole storyline. Whole story. It is lazy television. It is lazy. There's no smart. For a television program about science and robotics and aliens and the, you know, sci-fi and all these kind of things, it's like the writers, the smart writers left. They weren't there anymore. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think this would have ever gotten off the ground if it wasn't for Steven Spielberg's involvement. I believe he was an executive producer on this, and he pitched it. So, yeah, could have been good. Could have been good. Extant, you could have been good. Unfortunately, you're nothing more than maybe mediocre at best. Well, there you go. There's my thoughts on Extant Season 2. Yeah. Don't. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.